my official predictions for UFC Fight Night Sandhagen versus Figueiredo. Let's get right into it, man. I apologize for the late upload. I was a little bit busy this week, so didn't get to every fight. As you know, man, around here, WMA fights unranked, I don't, dig too much into those ones. But I'm going with Ivana Petrovic. Let's move on. Don'Tale Mayes is taking on Thomas Petersen. Apologize here. Anyways, let's hop right into these odds. Don'Tale Mayes is plus 215. I tend to agree, man. Don'Tale Mayes, man. When I look at Don'Tale Mayes, I don't think he trains at all. Obviously trains Jackson Wink. His wrestling is just horrible, man. He just can't seem to stuff takedowns. And, this fight is pretty much a toss-up. It's a striker versus grappler in the heavyweight division. We just saw Petersen get knocked out, but man, I can't do Don'Tale Mayes. I can't do it. I picked him to beat Walter Walker. That didn't age well at all, actually. It was horrible, but I can't keep picking him. I didn't pick him to beat Gaziev, but these are all strikers that he's beating. Anybody who's taking him down or trying to take him down looks like they win. Hamdi Abdelwahab, Nascimento, Gaziev, Walker, they all win. I've got Thomas Petersen. I've got a bet locked in for Petersen sub plus 620, I think it was. And Thomas Petersen, collegiate wrestler, and I don't exactly remember where he wrestled. It might have been a D2, I don't know. But he's got solid wrestling, man, and that's all he's going to need to win this fight. Obviously, he's coming off that knockout against Gaziev. Wasn't a great performance. He got slumped out pretty cold. But Gaziev has good takedown defense typically. So we're going to have to see Don'Tale Mayes defend takedowns from Thomas Petersen. I just don't think he's able to do it. I think that Petersen's actually had to run through some guys that actually have decent grappling. Pogues, while it's a bad loss to have on your record, Jamal Pogues does have grappling. Muhammad Usman does have wrestling in his background. Gaziev does have wrestling in his background. I do believe that Thomas Petersen, from what I've seen at all these regional fights, he's looked pretty damn dominant on the mat. I expect him to get this fight down, just like anybody who wants to get Don'Tale Mayes down. They have no problem doing it. Once they get him down, fish out of water. He's on his back the whole round. You win the round no matter what. He can't get up if you put him on his back. That's what I see here, man. It could, Mayes could knock him out, but most likely outcome is we'll see what I just explained. I think Thomas Petersen maybe gets a submission. I hope he does. That'd be nice, but anyways, man, let's get right into the next fight. Gaston Bolanos, I don't know why it's on my page, is minus 135. I'm going with Quang. I think Gaston Bolanos is massively overrated. I don't think he should be a favorite in any single fight in the UFC. I think he's very trash. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I really don't understand. 32 years old. Got a good amount of KOs on his record. But this little run he's had in the UFC is 2-1. It hasn't been good. This guy's supposed to be some experienced Muay Thai striker. Sure, I don't know how good his days were in Muay Thai and kickboxing, but as an MMA striker, he doesn't impress me. I think he's relatively a little bit slow, and he's very one-dimensional with his striking. He doesn't strike in combinations that well. Like, I look at a guy like Rafael Fiziev as actually a good striker. Bolanos doesn't strike me as a good striker. He throws some decent leg kicks. That's going to help him here. Maybe a good weapon he can use. But his straight right hand he uses and a body kick. There's nothing really else on the table, man. That's from what I've seen of him. He got destroyed by Marcus McGee. I mean, not even close. Like, he didn't have a moment in this fight where he had hurt him. McGee was teeing off on him, killing him. And I know McGee's a good fighter. He's definitely better than Quang is. But this is still a problem, right? This guy's supposed to be some nasty striker. And not to mention, his striking isn't that good, first of all. And his grappling kind of sucks, too. Aaron Phillips had his back. Cortavius Romy has had his back. Anybody who wants to get his back can get his back, probably. I'm joking, obviously. Not anybody, but he's one of the worst. I think he's one of the worst fighters in the UFC. Now, Quang, he's going to come at you with more of a balanced game. And I like that. I like that here. He just got finished in his last fight versus Long Zhao, who's a tough matchup, man. And I picked Quang to beat Long Zhao, but man, I didn't know Long Zhao had a brick of a head because I'm not going to lie. Quang was hitting him with some good shots. Like, he was hitting him with some solid, hard punches. And Long Zhao just ate him and kept going. And Long Zhao, if you don't know who that guy is, he, like I said before, brickhead. And he has endless cardio. He can go all day with very good takedown defense. So just a hard matchup there. I thought Quang won the first round. He was looking pretty good. But the pace of the fight was just a little bit too much. I don't think he'll have to worry about that here. Quang Le's boxing's not bad. I think he's the better striker and the better grappler here. So I'm betting on Quang Le. If I say that, people are gonna think that's a hot take about the striking. He might not be the better kicker, but he is the better boxer in my opinion. More variety. He's sneaky with his striking. I think he wins this fight relatively easily, man. I'm a little confused by the line just because I don't believe in Bolanos, and I picked Bolanos to beat Romius, and the submission is going to look good. Hopefully, Quang Le's able to get a submission, but I think he wins this fight easily. Confused by the line, confused on how many people I'm seeing pick Gaston Bolanos, but I'm riding with my pick, man. Quang Le will be my pick. Let's move on to the next fight. We got Gillian Robertson taking on Marina Rodriguez. I used to like Marina so much. 38 years old. She's a Muay Thai fighter. She's a good striker. She's tall, long for the division. She is a good striker. She's got a lot of split decisions on her resume as of recent. I mean, this fight was crazy. Lemos just put her out. I mean, nasty. The Vierna fight, I could relatively see this fight going like this. You're looking at a huge favorite. Not a huge favorite, but Gillian is minus 285, and I do understand it. Maybe I can see Marina getting around, but I just think Gillian's been on a really high win streak. She's looked very, very good in her last couple of fights. I got to go Robertson, man. I just feel like when you look at these WMMA matchups, man, it's just if there's a striker versus grappler, you got to always go with the grappler. That's just how I see it, and I'm going to go with Gillian here, man. Let's go ahead and move on to the next fight. Azamat Bekoev taking on Ryan Loder. I'm not a huge fan of either of these guys, but this fight's a little bit interesting. Bekoev, he's got good grappling. He's big. He hits pretty damn hard for a wrestler, I guess, but he's not all that great. I don't agree with the line here where he's minus 410. I don't understand that. I think that's very wide. But I do think he wins this fight, and it's more of just the rawness of Ryan Loder. Ryan Loder got this kind of karate stance on the feet. He is big, but he's not a great striker, man. I don't know how he would win this fight. Maybe he can try to win in the clinch, but then again, Bekoev, natural wrestler, could give him some issues there. So it's just a bad matchup for Loder, man. He's got a tricky kind of style to him where he's, light on his feet, like a karate stance, and he'll just throw random shit because he can get away with it because nobody's going to try to take him down. But if you're able to counter decently, you'll be able to knock this guy out. I think Bekoev is a little bit of a better striker, but I don't think it's going to be a dominant performance here. I'm going with Azamat Bekoev by a decision. I'd probably stay away from that one. Next up is Yana Santos, Miesha Tate. Man. She looked good against Chandler, I remember. But Chelsea Chandler just got knocked out by Jocelyn Edwards. So how good did she look? You know what I mean? Once again, it's just a striker grappler, bro. I gotta go Miesha Tate. Let's do that. Let's move on to Stephans versus Jones. Come on, man. I gotta go Mason Jones. I like Mason Jones quite a bit. I love his clinch game. He's dirty inside the clinch. He'll throw elbows, he'll throw knees. He's got nasty, dirty boxing. But the best way to win this fight for him would be just to take him down, Jeremy Stephens down. I think, it's just the style that typically you'll see Mason Jones fight with is the kind of style that Jeremy Stephens probably wants to fight with. The bite on your mouthpiece and go forward, get right in the pocket, nonstop, and I think that's kind of what Jeremy Stephens wants. Mason Jones might give it to him. I think if he does, fight with that style, I still think he wins. But I think he's just going to take him down or wear him down. And I think the cardio is going to be a big problem for Mr. Jeremy Stephens here. The cardio, You're 38 years old. You've been fighting in bare knuckle. All this clinch and the potential of the grappling, it's just going to be a lot to deal with. You know what I mean? It's just, is he really going to be able to go a hard 3 rounds? Bare knuckle boxing is 2 minutes, 2-minute rounds, and there's no really grappling. I just don't see the gas tank inside of a 38-year-old guy who hasn't fought in MMA in 3 years, especially, you know what I mean? I don't know how hard he's been training grappling. It's just like, this fight wasn't even announced that long ago. I mean, it might have been 2 months ago, maybe. So we don't really know how much he's been training grappling, but he's never the best grappler. I just think the gas tank won't be good enough. To me, Mason Jones, I like this guy a lot. I think he wins this fight, man. I can't pick a 38-year-old bare knuckle boxer, man. No offense. Let's move on. Cameron Smotherman, Surrey City. A lot of people are on Smotherman, man. I don't know. I think Smotherman's pretty good. He's got a relatively, basic style on the feet. He's not something crazy you watch. I've watched a lot of his fights in Fury, and my issue with Cameron Smotherman is his durability. I mean, the guy gets hurt quite a bit, which I don't like. I think which fight? Ryan Mandala? Yeah, he got hurt by this guy, multiple times with just a right hand in the pocket. I worry about his durability. Knocked out by Charlampos. I'll give him credit. This was a little bit of an early stoppage in the Charlampos fight, but dude, getting knocked out by that guy is not a good look. And he's been finished a couple times, and he's been hurt a couple times, more than a couple times, which bothers me. But what his style is on the feet, good takedown defense, pretty slick, nice boxing, good combinations, doesn't throw too hard, but he can put the volume together. And I can see him winning this fight. I do think it's close, but I am going with Sidey, and I'm not a huge fan of Sidey. He's a guy, I will say this, he's a guy who has a lot of skills. He just hasn't really been able to put it together in these past couple of fights. Ramon Taveras is a tough matchup for him. Ramon Taveras, at the end of the day, not the best fighter, but Ramon Taveras, what he is, he's fast. He's got really slick boxing, better boxing than a Cameron Smotherman, and he's faster than him. And you could have given him Sidey this fight. Potentially, you could have given him this fight. And then he knocked out Taveras, and then in this fight, he lost. He lost to Garrett Armfield. I thought Armfield won 30-27. I bet on Garrett Armfield. I picked him to win, and I was quite disappointed. Sidey was humble in defeat. He said that he thought he lost the fight as well. I'm glad he knows that. But I'm picking him here, and I think the reasons I got are pretty decent reasons. One's, I think he's got the grappling upside here. I don't think he's an outstanding grappler. He does shoot a lot of submission attempts, and they're pretty dangerous. But not only do I think he's got the grappling upside, I think that he has more diversity in his striking. I love strikers that are throwing a lot of different weapons, right? Sidey will throw knees. He'll throw weird different kicks. He'll throw a lot of elbows, crashing the pocket, of course, the punching. But it's using all of the weapons, which I absolutely love. I love seeing that. And that's what he does, man. He was trying to do it versus Armfield. When Armfield was coming in with shots, he was, trying to land elbows on him. And I love seeing that. He's got a nice, sharp 1-2 down the middle. And he's got some power, man. He's a good striker. To me, man, it's a tight fight, but like I said, I think the grappling upside a little bit might play some dividends. I know Smotherman's got pretty solid takedown defense, so I don't think it'll be that crazy, but I do like Sidey's volume and his cardio as well. He's pretty durable. Just a lot of things to like about Surrey City, honestly. He just hasn't been able to put it together. He doesn't manage his range that well. He eats a lot of shots. He doesn't move his head that well, but he's tough. You know what I mean? So those are some things you take into note here, but I'm going to go with Sidey. More volume, more damage, I feel like, in the grappling upside. But it's a tight fight, but I like Sidey here. I need to see this guy put it together because I do think that he's got pretty good potential. I know who has he lost to? Mateo Vogel. That's not a bad loss. Mateo Vogel's actually pretty good. Mateo Vogel gave Timmy Kwamba a tough fight on Contender Series as well. So, this loss doesn't do much. I mean, he's still a good fighter. I believe in him, man. I'm going to go with Sidey. Let's move on to the next fight. Daniel Marcos, Montel Jackson. I'm going with the underdog, man. Montel Jackson, he's going to come in here at -201. I understand it. Montel Jackson, I do not like this when people never fight. Now, not only does Montel Jackson fight once a year, these fights, he's not taking any damage. He beat Ronnie Yaya. Like, are you serious, man? Look at Ronnie Yaya. Oh, this is whatever. Ronnie Yaya was 38 in this fight. He was balding on top, and he had a little bit of hair right here. Like, no. He didn't take a punch from Ronnie Yaya. He didn't get hurt from Ronnie Yaya. There's no excuse, man, for you to not to fight for a whole nother year. And then he gets a fight the next year, and he knocks out Damon Blackshear in 1 minute, in less than a minute. And then he's back way later again. I cannot stand this, man. You finished 2 guys in the first round, and you're just not fighting. So I don't know what the hell's going on, but there's nothing that makes me more upset than seeing this. Because I can't stand when people are inactive. I just really don't like it. But Montel Jackson's skill set, he's very long for the division. He's huge, man. He's got an insanely long reach. He has a wrestling background, and he might be able to try to wrestle in this fight. My issues with Montel Jackson, I don't like his striking defense. If you've watched Montel Jackson, he reaches for punches, and he can get away with that. 1, because he manages range pretty well. He does manage range well. And 2, I don't think he's fought the best strikers that can take advantage of something like that. And the best striker he's fought is Julio Arce. And I'm a Julio Arce kind of fan, good slick boxing. But I will say this about Julio Arce. He does not have the kicking ability and the diverse attack that Daniel Marcos does have. I think Daniel Marcos, with the leg kicks, I think he's got some nasty, disgusting leg kicks, like some of the best in bantamweight. Tore apart John Castaneda's leg, tore apart Adrian Yanez's leg. Like, after a couple against Yanez, it looked like his leg was like blown up. You know what I mean? So that's a huge weapon he's going to need to use here, but he's got to be careful, of course. And because, that straight left from Montel is nasty. It's nasty, and he hits hard. Another thing about Daniel Marcos, that I think he can implement into his game, or that he has in his game, is very good striking defense. He's got very good striking defense. You see him defend a lot of shots. He has good vision. He sees the shots well. And I love that in this fight, because I think you just got to really see it against Yanez. Had a couple good moments in that fight. I don't like Daniel Marcos' gas tank. Little bit concerning. But I don't think that this fight is going to be at a high pace. Montel Jackson's not throwing a ton of strikes, so the pace of the fight is not going to be too high for him to gas out like he has against Castaneda or against Yanez. But, you're seeing some similarities here. He's coming off a split decision win against Yanez, who I think is a better boxer than Montel Jackson, faster than Montel Jackson, with just better hands. You know what I mean? So this is a similar matchup in the sense that Montel is going to be bigger. There's different things that both guys do, good and bad. I'm going to go with Marcos. I think the matchup is okay for him. This should be a competitive, fun fight. We'll see how Montel Jackson looks, man. If he wins this fight, let's see if we'll see him in a year. You know what I mean? But I think Marcos gets after the leg kicks here. I just think the line's wide, man. This is a guy who's undefeated in the UFC, 17, or in his career, 17-0. And no matter who he's fought, he might have a harder he might have better wins than Montel Jackson does. Adrian Yanez, pretty good win. John Castaneda, a decent win. You know what I mean? Davey Grant, although he might have lost this fight, pretty good win. I think he's got better wins than Montel Jackson. He's been tested. He's more active. I'm going to go with Daniel Marcos here. Let's move on to the next fight, which is going to be Santiago Ponzinibbio versus D-Rod. If you know me, man, you know I'm not a Santiago Ponzinibbio kind of guy. I picked Carlston Harris to beat him. I've probably picked him. I picked Salikov. I've picked every fucking person that ever fights him in this time span to beat him, bro. After this, like right after the Morono fight, I'm never picking him again. I can't trust his durability, and it doesn't come down to anything else. I think that in this fight, he's going to be the guy who hits harder. He's going to be the guy who might have the better pure, boxing. I don't know, pure boxing, but he's not going to be the volume guy here. He's going to be the leg kicks pressure guy, and he might, honestly, the style, I don't blame people for picking him. I don't. But if you watch these fights, man, the reactions he gets, you just can't do it. I can't pick him, man. I can't pick him. And I don't think the world of D-Rod. I've actually faded him quite a bit. I picked Morono to beat him. I thought Morono could have gotten the nod there. But this Gastelum fight, I actually thought he beat Kelvin Gastelum. And he looked pretty good. These other fights, Magny, not great. Ended up winning the second against Magny. Gary knocked him out. This was a bad decision as well. But I don't think you need that much to beat Santiago Ponzinibbio. You just need moments. You know what I mean? And although D-Rod does not hit hard, it doesn't really matter, man. Ponzinibbio, he just gets hit. He just has bad react. He might get finished, man. You can't fight like he does, going to war with guys for however long he's been fighting. 2000, you can't do that, man. And it's starting to show the signs are there. I think that he has no durability. Every single fight I pick and I watch him, this Salikov fight, he's losing because of big moments. It's not because he's not a good fighter. No, it's because he gets hit and he gets wobbled a lot, way too much. I think he might get finished here. Carlston Harris dropped him 3 fucking times, okay? Carlston Harris doesn't hit that hard. You know what I mean? You don't have to hit that hard. I think a toddler could go out there and touch Ponzinibbio on the chin and make him wobble, make him feel a little bit drunk in there. I just can't do it, man. I'm going with Daniel Rodriguez. Let's move on to the co-main event. Reinier de Ridder taking on Bo Nickal. This is a Bo Nickal fight to win. It's set up for Bo Nickal, and he will win this fight. Reinier de Ridder, it's just a bad matchup for him, man. He's not a great striker, and there's some things I will give him in this fight is his size. He is a big dude, 78-inch reach, 6'4". It's going to be interesting to see how Bo gets on the inside. He needs to improve, and I'm looking, and hoping he's going to improve in this fight. So I'm picking him to win. I don't think that we'll see much grappling in this fight, and that'll be because Bo doesn't want it to be grappling. I think Rainier's probably going to try to shoot on Bo Nickal. He probably won't take him down. I think it'd be pretty crazy, but I'm going to go with the better athlete here, which is Bo Nickal. Bro. He's faster. He's better athlete. He's younger. I think he wins this fight. I think he wins this fight relatively easily. Reinier de Ridder, not a good striker, man. And Reinier can try to fight in the clinch. Maybe he can try to do that. Maybe that's his best plan here. But I just think at range, man, Bo is just better. He's faster. And he's going to be able to dart in and out kind of. Reinier, Gerald Mearshart was getting his hands on him. I'm going to go with Bo here. It'd be a shame if Bo lost. He's a confident guy. I'm sure he works his tail off. Going with Nickal here. The main event, I think this is a relatively easy one to go with. Corey Sandhagen is minus 600. I'm going with Sandhagen. It just comes down to Deiveson Figueiredo getting that big moment. Now, Deiveson Figueiredo's KO is like plus 1,400, and I don't know, man. I kind of want to sprinkle that because I don't see him winning the fight any other way. In all of these fights, he's hurting everybody. He hurt Peter Yan. He hurt Marlon Vera. He hurt Rob Font. So how can he not hurt Corey Sandhagen? You know what I mean? So there's a chance, of course, because Figueiredo has that big power, because he has a nasty submission game. There's always a chance with this guy. You know what I mean? But the more likely outcome is going to be Sandhagen dancing around him, out-voluming him, using those diverse striking attacks, and the footwork will be too much. He's longer. He's younger. The wrestling, you could probably imagine that Figueiredo is going to be trying to wrestle here quite a bit, trying to take this fight down, and I just don't think it's going to work for him, man. To me, you're just going to see Corey Sandhagen out-volume Deiveson Figueiredo the whole entire fight, and potentially Figueiredo lands a big shot or gets him down momentarily. But I just don't see it, man. I got to go Sandhagen here. I'm going to go Sandhagen 49-46 decision. Should be relatively easy for him. But yeah, man, that's going to wrap it up for me. I hope y'all enjoyed. I apologize about the late predictions. I'm going to get my best bets out tomorrow, so I'll see you for that. Or I might go live. I don't know, but I'll let you know. That's going to wrap it up for me. I hope y'all enjoyed. Catch you in the next one.